Questions about any of our products? Questions for Randy with the low vision products? Questions about the
If you
Braille?
don't have a computer, can you use any of these Braille devices? Can you get the internet on any of these Braille devices?
Good question. The answer is yes.
Repeat the question.
The question was, if you do not have a computer or are not using a computer, can you surf the web using these devices? And the answer is yes on every device with the exception of the Braille Edge. The Braille Edge is a true Braille display. It does not have a browser in it, but absolutely. There's a browser. There is Wi-Fi available on all units. Some of the units have an Ethernet port, so you could plug it directly in if you wanted to. And yes, you can absolutely surf the web or do email on these devices.
Hello. I'm low vision, and I comprehend very well what was told to me about this side of the room. But I need to break this down almost into Neanderthal. I have a book. It's not a book that's in audio, and I'm dying to read it. And there's supposed to be a machine that I put the book under, and then a voice reads it to me. Has anything you said when you said speech anything to do with what I'm trying to find a way to have?
Okay, the question was if I have a book or magazine, in other words, a printed page, and I want that printed page spoken to me. Is that correct?
Perfect.
Okay. The answer for HIMS is no. The answer for the industry is yes. There's many, many, many products that do that. And I'm going to go ahead and hand the mic over to Gus on this one, so he can comment.
Okay, so Marion, that was you asking the question? Yes?
That was my question.
Okay, so we do actually have a couple of products on hand in at CCVIP that I can show you that do perform that function. One of them works in conjunction with a computer, and it's software-based and requires some additional hardware purchases. The other one is a standalone device that does not require being connected to a computer that will read back a lot of, will read back the printed word.
You give me eyes and you give a voice to tell me what the eyes see. It will read to me.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I will
Yes.
do it.
Yeah,
That's
It is
all I
like a
want.
highlighted
it's a
word by
device.
word.
It's a device that will literally take a picture of. If I can have everybody's attention, please. It's a device that will literally take a picture of the printed word and will read it aloud to the user.
Thank
So
you.
so definitely give me a call and we'll set up an appointment for you to come in and take a look at it.
I
Okay?
wish HIMS had it because I love you.
We actually are working on
The
it.
way you
Oh,
have
excellent.
everything.
Yeah,
on your
probably
site.
next year.
Thank you.
Okay, Zanima, go ahead.
Two quick questions.
Mhm.
What are the price range on the handheld?
Oh, okay.
I can do that unless you want to.
Okay, go ahead.
Just repeat the question.
The question was the pricing on the handheld devices. The lowest price product is the SenseView Lite. That's the one that Randy showed with a 3.5-inch screen, and that is $495. The next price point would be the SenseView, which is the 4.3-inch screen with one camera. That is at $595. The next product is the Candy. The Candy without the handle is $695. That one is the 5-inch with continuous zoom. You add the handle to that, and that brings it to $745. And then the last product for handhelds is our SenseView Duo, which is a 2-camera system for distance viewing, and that's $795. So $495 to $795 is the quick answer to your question.
The other question was, suppose something happens to one of these pieces of equipment, where do you send it to get fixed, or what? Is there a support system for?
Yeah, we have our office in Austin, Texas. We have repair technicians, we have all the parts, we have all the necessary equipment to fix the units.
So if there's a malfunction in the city here, you got to send it to Austin.
Yes, basically. Okay, go ahead.
This is Scott, this is Lynn. Is there a YouTube porting?
The question is there a U2 QWERTY? And yes, there is. U2 QWERTY, it's got a really, really thin keyboard, and it's a 32 cell. So there is not an on-hand QWERTY, if that makes sense. In other words, the little 18 cell Braille display note taker only comes with a Braille keyboard. But yes, there are two devices that have QWERTY keyboards. One is the U2 QWERTY, and then one is the one that I think I'm going to lose to Gus here, the VoiceSense QWERTY. So there are two.
It seems to have disappeared from the table.
I think we have another one.
For your note-taking devices, what types of files does it read and what type of files does it not read?
Good question. The question was, what files does the Braille Sense U2s, etc. read? Let me start with what are not readable, and the only one left right now is PowerPoint. We have now introduced PDF, so that if it's an unprotected PDF document, which means obviously that it's not a picture, that it's a true scanned text PDF document, that will work on all of the products. It does open it up in a word processor, so it doesn't keep it as PDF, but you can use it and edit it and resave it as a Word document. Text, DOC, DOCX, in other words, if you have Office 2007 or 2010, it will open that and read that appropriately. Let's see, RTF, so all of your file types for the most part. EPUB, which is a new one that a lot of libraries are starting to use, and the secret on EPUB is that EPUB is basically a DAISY file. There's just enough difference where technically we had to add it to our software. So most of your files are going to be opened and read with the devices. NLS, Bookshare, so in other words, DAISY files also are handled. So most of your files that are out there are going to open in all of the units.
Excuse me, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
On all of your products, do you have like insurance plans if something happens to them or something, you can get the product replaced?
We do. First of all, the question was, do we have insurance or any coverage for the units themselves? And the answer is yes. First of all of our products, I think all of them have a 1-year warranty. Is there any that doesn't, Randy? I think every one
Actually,
has.
it's 2 years actually.
The
Braille
lifestyle-
Edge. Braille Edge
Okay,
is a 2 years.
thank you. The Braille Edge, the Braille display is a 2-year. All of our other products have a 1-year warranty on them. After that, you can purchase a PMA or product maintenance agreement, which would cover it for any problems or whatever that takes place. And what's the price on the PMAs? Do you know? Randy?
PMA is for the note taker is like $650. And the one thing I would like to recommend about comment about our PMA is that actually it includes the loan service. So if you have a PMA from us and something's wrong, you have to send it back to our Austin office. Let's say, usually we repair and ship it back like within 7 business days, 5 to 7 business days. But sometimes we need a little more time, let's say 2 weeks, 3 weeks. In that case, we loaned another unit for you, so you don't have to, you can still use it for your daily life, for schools or whatever. So
Thank you for answering my question.
That's a great question, and I'm very proud of our repair center. If you find anybody anywhere in the country that are using HIMS products, I think you'll find that either they have never sent them in or that when they have, they've come back very quickly. We pride ourselves on quality of our products, and we've really seen that to be the case. What's the biggest issue we have? Battery not working on the BookSense. Maybe once in a while somebody drops the case and the BookSense case breaks or whatever. Our Braille displays are very, very strong. They work really well. Chances are you won't have to send it in much. And most of our devices have replaceable batteries, where if it's a battery issue, you can just order one and have it sent to you.
Scott, can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Does the U2 devices, are they able to deal with spreadsheets?
Question was, do the U2s deal well with spreadsheets? And the answer is no. I didn't mention Excel. I forgot about Excel. There is a database manager in the U2 products and in the VoiceSense products, but a true spreadsheet is not supported at this time. What you can do, though, is save it as a Word document. You may lose some of your formatting, but you would be able to at least read it and use it. But a true spreadsheet does not work.
Can you record from the book sense? Are you able to record it?
Oh, I'm sorry. The question was, can you record on the BookSense? And yes, you can. Not only can you record, but it records as an MP3. There are some of the other Daisy products that are out there do not record in MP3. You have to convert them, the files, if you want to play them on a regular computer. You can also go in and change what's called the bit rate. So if you are audio freak, you want something to sound really good. Most of us can care less. We just want to be able to hear it. You can bump up the bit rate. It'll take up more storage, but it'll sound even better. It also supports an external microphone.
Okay, so that means if you're in a class and you're taking notes or something like that, you can use it that way as well.
Absolutely, and it works very, very well to do that. You can also, on those recordings, you can put bookmarks in them, not as you're recording, but when you're playing back, you could put an audio bookmark. You can do that with your books too, or with your favorite music. You can actually say, hey, this is a great, very important piece for my test. You can actually record yourself saying that, and then you can say, all right, I need to jump to only the bookmarks that I've sent, or that I've set. And every time you jump to that bookmark, your voice comes out and says what that bookmark is for. So you can mark up all of your files with bookmarks on the BookSense.
The gentleman with the blue cap, you have a question? Excuse me? Right. Yeah, it's over there. Yeah, you have a question, right? Yeah, go ahead.
A couple of basic questions. These are rechargeable batteries?
Yes, the batteries are rechargeable.
What is the life of the batteries for the Candy and the BookSense?
The BookSense is around 10 to 12 hours. The Candy is at 3.5 to 4 hours for the Candy.
Yeah.
Does either of those have something built into the case so that you can put a lanyard through it and hang it around your neck? Because sometimes I don't have pockets. I don't want to carry these things in my hand. These are very basic questions, but they're practical.
The question was, is there a way to lanyard, if you will, or to hang the devices around your neck or your arm? In the BookSense case, yes. The Candy does not have a way to hang it around your neck or your arm, but the BookSense definitely does. BookSense also, Executive Products, the company in California, does make a real nice leather case for the BookSense, which has a belt clip that allows you then to hook it to your belt. We haven't, the Candy is so new, we don't have extra cases. It does ship with a cloth case right now, but it doesn't have any way to be hooked to your person at this point.
With the lifestyle, is that automatically self-focusing continually?
Yes.
Question was the lifestyle CCTV, is it have autofocus? And the answer is yes, it does.
Yeah.
That's continually on it?
Yeah, continuously autofocus. Yes.
And let me comment a little further on that. The Candy and the Candy Grip also have autofocus. But they also have a focus button. So let's say your focus is not where it needs to be. You can press the focus button and it will refocus automatically if you do that. So that's something that the Candy has. I don't know if any other small devices have that feature where you can do both.
They can do, yeah.
I'd like to know the price of the non-braille VoiceSense note taker.
The question was the price of the non-braille VoiceSense note takers. Randy, where are we at right now? Is it 19? Or
$19.95.
It's $19.95 for those.
Right here.
Okay.
Okay, any final?
Yeah, what's the price of the 18-cell device?
The 18-cell on-hand price is $49.95, so $49.95. As you're hearing, Braille is expensive, so it's one of those things you invest in and you hold on to for a long, long time. But it's an 18-cell, very, very portable, and that's the price of that one.
Are these items considered like a medical thing, non-taxable, or do you pay tax?
The question is taxing of the products. Generally, I guess it depends where you buy it from.
Okay.
If you purchase it from HIMS, and I'm not saying you need to. We support our dealers very, very closely. We love to have local presence in most states, like here in New York. If you purchase it through our company in Austin, Texas, there is no tax. What usually happens, the dealers will often discount to cover the tax. They'll charge tax, but they'll discount it so that in theory you don't see the tax. But generally there is tax if it's bought within the state.
Okay.
It does not qualify as a medical product.
Okay.
Do you have a distributor here in New York?
Yes, we do. Randy, do you want me to comment, or do you want to comment on our distributor in New York?
Actually, we have the Chuck Cohen.
Okay.
And Chuck is, and also of our like a low vision product, there is a independent living aid.
Oh, right.
And there's what is another company?
LS&S, who are
LS&S.
kind of here now in New York, and Maxi Aids.
Yeah, Maxi Aids too.
Also.
And also, if you want to have we're gonna launch some of the products to the CCVIP too. And at this moment, there's some places that you can check our products, like a Lighthouse, New York Lighthouse, and Juicy Guild for the blind, and the Visions. They have some of our products also, so probably you can call that and Visions too.
You guys are the state of New York is really fortunate because all three places and all four places that Randy mentioned there are some pretty strong tech people at those places. So. You also, we do have a 30-day money back on all of our products, which means that in theory, if you feel you probably would like it, you can try it and we will take it as a return within 30 days. Chuck can come to you and you can go to any of the four places that Randy mentioned to see the products, or they're right here on our table before you leave today. So.
What about Minnesota? Do you have a distributor?
That's a good point. The question was Minnesota. Our distributor in Minnesota is Earl Harrison or Handy Tech. Earl is a very, very strong user of our products. Earl is just a good friend, someone that I enjoy working with tremendously. And he has all of these products available in Minnesota. I don't know if they're at any of the, I don't know if SSB, State Services for the Blind, has the products. Earl would be able to answer that question, or we could check with our office. But Earl Harrison from Handy Tech is our person up in Minnesota.
Do you have information where we can, available today, where we can get these products?
I'm glad
we have a printed brochures, we have CDs if you like, we have some braille brochures if you want to have a note taker edge, you can carry it, so we have enough of them. So.
And Randy mentioned braille, print, CD, also our website. If any of you like to surf the web, if you go to HIMS, HIMS-Inc.
Can you repeat that, please?
Sure. The website is HIMS, HIMS-INC.com, HIMS-Inc.com, or you can always call us. The number I believe is 888-520-HIMS or 888-520-4467, and that goes to our office in Austin, Texas. That's also tech support, so if you have any issues, you can use that number or our 512 number in Austin. But a lot of good things here for you guys to take home with you when you leave today, too. I mean, as far as brochures.
I see. Give me that YouTube right now. Before we break up, can I just see the mic?
There you go. It's coming your way.
Let's watch the blind people find the mic. I think the Minnesota people have the capacity, if you want to, and Sherry, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think if you wanted to, you might have the capacity to type a question. So if you guys want to try that, there's a risk for you. But maybe we ought to take a second and just see if you're interested in doing that. They can do it, right, Cher?
I believe they can.
Karen, how about them calling a cell phone? And somebody relaying the question, giving out your cell phone number and they can call.
I'm not telling my cell phone number.
Well, or somebody else. maybe
We're trying to
stop.
pilot this function
Yeah.
or feature
Yeah.
of Ustream, so that's why Karen is, I mean,
That's
in
right.
addition to getting a question in, that's one of the reasons we're suggesting this. So hopefully, Minnesota, you can ask us a question. But as we're waiting for that question, I also want to mention to you guys, just piggybacking off of what Scott just said, you guys will also receive a CD from CCVIP today, and information on HIMS, including the website, and some brief information on the products that were displayed today will also be on that disc. So you guys will be able to access that information there. That's also in a Word document and as an HTML.
Now,
Okay.
I'm going to mention, Gus reminded me, so I'm going to mention one other thing. CCVIP has the need to be able to get information from people as far as whether or not these sessions and our services in general have been helpful to you. We need to be able to tell it to funders, sometimes we need to be able to tell it to reporters and that sort of thing. So I'm warning you that you might, if you're willing, and we'd love to know that. I have the feeling that most of you would be willing, but we might call on you just to ask if there are things that you might be willing to say about whether or not this has been a helpful service for you. Would you guys mostly be willing to do that?
Yes.
On camera, that's great. We're going to be doing more of that because, of course, the people who fund these services want to know that it has made a difference to you. So we need you to be able to tell them because somehow they don't believe me. No, sorry. They need to hear it from the real McCoys, which is the real people who actually use the services. Thanks.
Of course.
Karen, I have one more comment too. May I?
Yes, Scott.
Grab the mic.
Here you go.
Here you go, Scott.
We'll have Gus be the mic passer.
Yes, that's right.
I do have a purpose.
That's right.
So if you wonder what Gus does, he's a mic
He's a mic
passer.
That's right.
Karen reminded me of funding, and there's a lot of concern when we talk pricing for a lot of these devices. For many of us, there is the option of going to our state counselors, especially if we're in an employment situation or a life-changing situation, and often they can get involved in helping fund these products. Another thing that I like to mention, and none of us like to take out loans, but the way I look at it is some of us don't have cars, especially in New York. And going to a credit union, I wouldn't go to a bank, but a lot of times credit unions will, especially if your credit rating is okay, will come through with a pretty nice, good loan situation. And it's a lot better than going with a credit card. So just some things that I have kind of gleaned over the years that would really help if funding is something that is keeping you from thinking of any of these products. I just wanted to mention that because Karen reminded me of that.
Absolutely.
I'm going to get this back to you guys.
Okay, great. Are there any other questions for Scott or Randy?
Scott, which of the devices that you have, which they all sound beautifully explanatory here, will you recommend for a student that wants to take notes, a portable?
The question was, for students in school, what would I recommend? It depends on the student. If the student is a braille user and wants a device that's all-in-one, I would recommend the U2s, whether it's the QWERTY keyboard or the braille keyboard. If it's a partially sighted student, I would probably recommend using a voice sense or a voice sense QWERTY, which is a small device without braille on it. If the student is a big fan of the iPad or the iPhone, and they use braille, I would recommend the Braille Edge. If the student is a partially sighted student who just needs magnification every once in a while, I would recommend the Candy. So it really depends on what the student needs, and that's what's neat. We have a lot of opportunities. So afterwards, if you have specifics for me, I can try to narrow it down for you too.
Well, just no sight at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
No sight. If they're Braille users, then they want an all-in-one device, a U2, and if they're an iPad, iPhone user, the Edge, the Braille Edge. There's a lot of people who don't know Braille. And in that case, a good device that speaks, that allows access to all files and so forth, with a pair of headphones.
Yeah. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Yes, question?
I heard from somebody that the Kindle and the e-readers have something where it will talk to you about for downloaded books. Is there a difference between that and your BookSense?
Good question. The question was basically comparing the Kindle Fire and some of the other tablets to the BookSense. The Kindle and the Kindle Fire are not accessible. By that I mean, in fact, my wife has one and I never get to use it. If she were to start the book for me and hand it to me, yes, there's no question. I can listen to it. The iOS devices, the iPad, the iPhone, there are some very, very nice software packages that do work that allow for access of books. The BookSense is very, very, very small. And that's, I think, what sets it apart from even an iPhone or an iPad, is the size of it. Also, right now, the books from NLS, your talking books, there is not an app yet for the iPhone or the iPad to play those books to you. So BookSense to me is for someone who wants real portability or who doesn't use any of these other products like the iPad or definitely not the Kindle. Most of the e-readers, with the exception of the Apple e-readers, are not accessible. You just can't use them as a visually impaired or blind student. Good question. That was a very good question.
Anybody else?
Yes, can you speed up playback on these audio recordings?
Question is, can you speed back playback? And the answer is yes on all files, whether it's a text file that's being turned into speech or whether it's a audio file. You can speed up and slow down very easily.
Will it give you natural sounding speech or Alvin and the Chipmunks?
The question is, what's the speech sound like, and whether it sounds like Alvin and the Chipmunks. The pitch does not change. So when you're going up or down, it does not change. The BookSense, unlike some of its competitors, uses something called Neo Speech, which is a very, very clear speech package, which means that I can hand my BookSense to anybody, a sighted person even, who is not used to listening to all that speech, and they can understand the BookSense. So it's a nice speech package in there. Whether it's sped up or not, it sounds very, very good. And of course, if it's a recorded, you're going to hear the actual narrator themselves coming out of it. But yeah, we're very proud of the quality that comes out of the BookSense.
These come with tutorials, all of these?
Question is tutorials. There is a on our website for basically all of our products. There is an MP3 45-minute or so audio tutorial to get you started. And yes, every one of our devices has tutorials built in. It's also on a CD that ships, and it's also on our website. So you can bring that down. And you know what? There's a lot of users of our products throughout the country. So you can always call us up in Austin and say, I'm having trouble getting started. Can you give me some pointers? And Michael or Jenny will get you started as well. We can't spend like 6 hours with you, but we can definitely get you started on any of our products.
CCVIP offers training.
Go ahead. Mention that again too.
And CCVIP does offer training. I've been working with somebody recently on using the BookSense, and hopefully, if there's enough demand, then we'll obviously be able to expand that to include the other sense devices, and whichever devices might be
Made available to us.
might be made available to us, and that you might be interested in. So if there's any device that you might be interested in learning how to use, you should give us a call, and we can see if that's something that we can support, because that's why we're here. Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Go ahead. Not a question, but a comment. I just wanted to
Yes,
say to
Lynette.
those who use the BookSense, it also has a great sounding guide voice.
Yes. So Lynette, that's Lynette, senior instructor. I'll repeat what she said if everybody will listen. So that's Lynette, our senior instructor here at CCVIP, and she says that the BookSense, in addition to having the wonderful female voice that you heard earlier, also has a very nice sounding male voice. So you get to customize how your device reads to you. I mean, and it's true. Some people feel more comfortable with one type of voice coming out of their device than over the other, and you have that option here.
But I'll bet that voice doesn't sound as good as mine, and there's another question up here.
Yes, Louis, nothing sounds as good as you do. Yes, question.
Go ahead. Question in the front.
Hey.
Go ahead.
Drop it, go ahead. Who's speaking?
Okay.
My question is about Braille Edge. I just want to know, can you look at the connectivity? Because I was looking at it, and it says that you could like connect the mouse. I don't know if that's true, and I don't know if it's for. Can you expand on that connectivity?
The question was your question connectivity to
the Braille Edge,
to the iPhone or iPad? Is that?
I don't know if it's true that you can connect it to a mouse.
Mouse.
To a mouse?
Yeah.
No, the Braille Edge would not work with a mouse. Now, if you have it connected to your computer and then you use the mouse on your computer, absolutely. But it does not. It works with a screen reader on your computer or your built-in screen reader on your iOS device, your iPad, your iPhone, or your Android mobile accessibility software.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
You bet, no problem. And something I didn't mention, I'll mention real quickly here as we wrap up. If you have your Braille Edge plugged in or Bluetooth, you can also Braille into your iPhone. So instead of using a regular keyboard, you could just use your regular Braille keyboard to do that on the Braille Edge.
I just want to say that your products and your presentations are like a miracle.
Thank you.
To persons who need it.
Thank you. Somebody should repeat what she said.
I'll do that.
I'll let you do that.
Thank you. Just to repeat what one of our audience members said, so I can have everybody's attention. Sure. What our audience member said is that the products that were demonstrated today occurred to her like a miracle. And I'd like to agree with that. Thank you. I want to really thank Randy and Scott for coming and joining us today and showing us.
Before you finish,
Yes?
I have a question.
Okay, one more question.
I'm a
Yes.
person that don't know Braille and up in age. I would like to.
So your question, yes?
Without Braille, I don't know to do Braille.
Uh-huh.
I'm completely blind.
Yes.
And I can read it. What would you recommend?
Okay, so I'm going to answer that question. So the question is, for a person who does not know Braille and is completely blind, what would the recommendation be? And I would say we can't make a recommendation from the front of a room. I would say you should come in and take a look at some of the products, and we can gauge what your skill level is, and then from there we could make a recommendation for what would work best for you.
For the voice?
Again, I wouldn't, I would assume if you don't know Braille and you're completely blind that you're going to be using speech output.
Yeah.
So yes, but what product would be best for you, I would not gauge to answer that from the front of the room. But definitely that's something that we can work with you on at CCVIP.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I just really, again, want to thank Scott and Randy for coming and joining us. And thank you very much, you guys. And I want to thank you all for being here today and for your great questions and your attention, and we hope to see you soon again. Thank you so much, everybody. So if anybody has any interest in seeing any of these products up close, please come up to the front and talk to Randy or to Scott.